Hi, I'm Alistair, the GrumpyCIO. And what am I grumpy about this week? I'm grumpy about small companies not setting operating models. Why do you need one of those? What's an operating? Isn't that just a load of waffle? No. Why do you need a TOM, a target operating model, as we used to call it? Well, it's how to define and break down who does what. And it's not just the role descriptions, little minute detail. It's how to actually say, what are the groups of entities within your organization? What do they do? What are they responsible for? Because if you do that, people can actually set up for themselves, and actually teams can drive themselves and manage themselves. And there is this thing called empower them that happens. If nobody actually knows kind of whose role is what, you end up with just a mess. True story, I was brought into an organisation. We're going to achieve this grand, glorious, fantastic goal. It was amazing, but it was just rush, hire people. We've got magic tools. We've got software that does this for you. And nowadays, AI doesn't do this for you. This is something you still have to think about and do yourself. We ended up in a room, and there were 17 people in the room working out how to hire 3 more people, all of whom might have worked to one of us. I was one of the 17. There should have been 2 of those 17 people in that room. Somebody should have thought about what was going off. They were just hiring rapidly, and we're hiring senior people to try and solve problems rather than admitting that we didn't actually know what we were doing. A Big Four accounting firm was brought in to solve this problem, and they just exaggerated it because they just wanted to keep all of those roles and make them that company brand name billable. Beyond that, on that particular engagement, I got one particular week I got fired on a Monday, re-engaged on a Tuesday, and my team doubled on a Wednesday because they realised I was doing a good job. And the person that the Big Four company had tried to put in instead of me to hatchet me saw the way the wind was going and ran a mile away. There you go. Messes happen if you don't do this. So what does it mean to actually form a target operating model? You get lots of sticky notes, or a Miro board, or a FigJam, and you put them on the board. And again, note to self on requirements. I asked the AI to do a picture for me of sticky notes on a whiteboard. Didn't require that they would be writing on them, so here's what it did. So obviously you write on your sticky notes. But you put stuff off on your board or your virtual board, or it can just be a table on Excel or something like that, and you're just trying to work out where everything goes. But make sure you can move stuff around easily, so sticky notes are great. You end up with trying to put them into groups. Now, before you've actually gone and said, but that's marketing, that's sales, that's development, that's corporate core, that's finance, that's HR. Don't put the labels on first. Work out all the things that have to be done and group them together. Because these things will fall into patterns, like sales and marketing stuff does kind of come together. But there's lots of other stuff. And the point is to get it all worked out as to who's responsible for what and which team's responsible for what before you start hiring, before you start doing anything else. Otherwise, you end up with stuff that's missing. People get frustrated because they're asked to do it. It's like, this isn't part of my team's role. It's not my KPIs. I'm not rewarded for this. Or the other way around, you've got 2 people hiring for the same thing, which happens a lot in big organizations, and then they're treading on each other's toes, and you end up with lots of very delicate meetings because people are, turkeys don't vote for Christmas, so you do need to make sure that people aren't put in a position where they're realising they're redundant. So first of all, write everything down. I've just written item down here, but make sure it's a nice big list. Put everything in there that you actually want to happen. Then you do start grouping them, and you go, look, well, credit whoever's doing the online development, the booking system. I just made up something here that's to do with SKUs and logistics and stuff like that. Credit ledger probably wouldn't go in there, and you wouldn't have the event management in the QA, people are doing QA, DevOps, and infra. So you do start to form these natural patterns, but it's after kind of like grouping things together and working out where things go. You don't force fit to start with. Then you work out who is going to run those functions, because these people then are the people that are planning for those functions, managing the functions. You're giving people ownership of that. So they are deciding they decide the role breakdown within it. They decide in order to achieve all the objectives, in order to do all the functions that I've written the operating model. These are the staff that I need, the tools that I need. Tools don't have emotions though, or families to feed, so staff is the bit you kind of have to work out even more, but they are going to be running that area. Now this is usually an excuse, these top operating model exercises are usually an excuse to cut people, because I said you end up with I just want to get rid of like 20% of my senior managers. You start recutting these things, but as I said, the same works for growth as well. If you're trying to grow rapidly, just hiring people Looney Tunes left, right and centre without an operating model means you're a mess everywhere. You want to just find this is this person. You want Bob coming to you with the first bit going, okay, I can achieve this, I know what I can do, I know what I need, I also know how I can expand it if needed. I know how it fits with the growth trajectory. I know what my function is and what my role is. My business partner Daniel and I are very keen on a book called Turn the Ship Around that he introduced me to. It was about a submarine captain who empowered basically the units of a compartment of a submarine to run themselves. The advantage of a submarine, obviously, is you already know what the unit is. There's a thing called the engine room. It's got an engine in it. In a kind of a modern company, you can kind of mix and jazz stuff up a little bit, but you still need to create these bits where you know what each function is doing. They know what they're doing, and then are empowered to do it themselves. And then you can hire the right people in. They'll also do the hiring for you, or a large part of it, because they'll know, I need this, and this is the conversation you can have with them, rather than being foisted on them by you. Okay, I'm Alistair, the Grumpy CIO of Shipshape.vc. We are the free investor search engine. Come to us to find the investors that get what you are talking about. Go get some money. Thanks all.